similar to how 3-point qualities and subtraction, which use the same strategies as solving equations, 3.3 is the same, where we're just solving using multiplication and division, but there is one little trick. So we need to go through this. Our learning goal is I will solve inequalities using multiplication or division, and also I will solve real-life problems. So to start off with, we're going to have a situation where, let's say we have x divided by 5 is less than -7. So in this case, the number that's with the x is positive. This is, you can either think about it as a positive 1/5 or we're dividing by a positive 5. So to solve this, I'm going to do what I had to do before. If I'm dividing by 5, I want to multiply each side by 5, and I'll get x is less than -35. And if I wanted to graph that, of course, there's, oops, let's put 0 here. 0, there's 10, 20, 30. That would be about 35. So -35. X is less than -35. Open circle at -35. I did a terrible job with this number line. You know, you get it. That's -35. And there I have it graphed. So in this case, I was dividing by a positive number, so I just used the same steps as before. But let's think about something about negative numbers for a second. If I have -3 compared to 4, for example, we know that -3 is less than 4. But when I multiply each side by -1, let's see what happens. -1 times -3 is going to give me a +3. 4 times -1 is going to give me a -4. So this symbol, even though I multiplied each side by the same number, my inequality symbol, if I put it here, that'd be saying 3 is less than -4, which is not true. My inequality symbol needs to flip. So because of this, any multiplication or division problem where I end up multiplying or dividing by a negative number, I need to switch my inequality symbol when I do that division. So, for example, if I have, let me see, where is it? If I had c divided by -4 is less than or equal to 3. My variable is being divided by a negative number. That tells me when I multiply each side by the negative, I'm going to have to flip my symbol around. So I multiply this by -4, multiply this side by -4. So -4 over -4 is 1. So that tells me that c is greater than or equal to -12. So I had to flip the symbol because the number that I was multiplying each side by was negative. Now, you'll notice back up on this problem, there was a -7 here. But that wasn't the number that each side got multiplied by. Each side was multiplied by 5. That was positive, and that's why my symbol didn't change. Here, each side is getting multiplied by a negative, and that's why my symbol has to be flipped over to find my solution. And then, of course, to graph this, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm not making these big enough. So I have a closed circle at -12, and then c is greater than -12. So it's the numbers that are greater than -12, and that's just how I would graph that. Now, we run into the same situation when I'm starting with a multiplication problem. So for example, -3j is greater than negative 9. In this case, my variable is being multiplied by a negative. That means I need to divide each side by a negative 3. So it's this negative 3 that each side is being divided by that makes it so I have to flip my inequality symbol. So that's going to change directions. Negative 3j divided by negative 3 is just j. Negative 9 divided by negative 3 is positive 3. So j is less than 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. I have an open circle at 3, and I'm talking about the numbers that are less than 3. So that would be my graph of my solution. So you just want to be careful here. If the number that's with the variable to start off with is negative, then you flip the symbol. If it's positive, like let's say we have this, something easy, 4x is less than or equal to 20. If I had something easy like this, I divide each side by 4, just like I would have done if it were an equation. Because this is a positive 4, I end up with x is less than or equal to 5. That would have been the same if I had had 4x is less than or equal to, how about negative 48? Again, to solve this, I'm just dividing by a positive 4. So I don't worry about flipping my symbol, and I'll get x is less than or equal to negative 12. So that's really the whole idea here, is just remembering when to flip that symbol over. And it's only when you are dividing by or multiplying by a negative number, like we did up here. So that is actually the entire lesson for today. So hop onto your homework. Hopefully you'll get it done in class. Good luck.